Hi there. Sorry I'm a wee bit late. I had a little bit of trouble getting my technical setup started. I don't know what happened since last time, but for some reason it didn't want to play nicely. But anyway, I'm here now and I've got some really cute projects to show you. So I'm going to be using items from the new Spring Summer catalogue. Oh, hey, Janie, lovely to see you. If you are here, then give me a comment in the box. Say hello, because that's the only way I get to see who's on. Yay, I've got Linda as well. Lovely to see you. Thanks for joining me. I'm not going to spend all this time chatting. I'm just going to jump straight into the crafting because let's face it, that you're more interested in seeing the crafting products than me. Hey, we've got Tammy as well. Lovely. Okay, let's get going, and I'll show you what we've got for today. So we had a team session at the weekend with some of my friends, and we had some online crafting, and we had great fun doing it. We really did. But a couple of the projects that I had made were these ones, and so this is using some of the products from the new Spring Summer catalogue. Hey, we've got Marion as well. Hi, Marion. So what I thought I'd do is I would show you how I made these two cards, because they're both using different techniques. One of them's using a watercolor technique, and the other one's using a blending technique. So the one I'm going to do first, I think, is the watercolor one, which you may have seen before, but it is so easy to do, and it's worth remembering that this is a technique that's available to us. So what I'm going to do is start off with some watercolor paper, and I'm just going to trim this down to size to fit my card blank. So I want to have it, let's see, about 13.8 centimeters by 9.5. Don't worry too much about the measurements for these. These two cards actually feature in the January class by post, so they will be appearing on my blog relatively soon. Oh, actually, while I've got this out, let's just do the background for it as well, which I'm going to do in Mossy Meadow. And actually, I have this card blank prepared already. How organised of me. So what I'm going to do then, to get this lovely watercolour background, all you need is a clear block and some watercolour markers. So I'm going to use the markers to colour onto the clear block. Now, when you're using this, it's best to use the thick ends of the pen because that's easier. You get better coverage. And always start with your lightest colour and then go through to the darker colours. Now that's kind of, should make sense, should be self-explanatory, because the last thing you want to do is colour in with a dark colour and then go to use your lighter pen and end up with the tip of your pen being coloured in by a darker one. Whereas if you do it the other way around, you know, the yellow is not going to affect this at all. Okay, so I have coloured in my block with my pen, so I've got some good coverage. And then I'm going to use one of these. So this is a spritzer, which Stampin' Up sell. And oh no, it's not got any water in it. Right, give me 30 seconds. I'm going to fill this up. I did fill it up, but I think I picked up the wrong one. That'll teach me. Sorry about that. I do prepare for these things, I promise. I had everything else laid out, but I should have checked that my spritzer had water in it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray the spritzer onto my block. And I'm actually going to do it off camera because you do need to spritz quite a lot, and I don't want to get there. But there you can see there's quite a lot of water on there. And what I'm going to do is just in one movement place it straight onto my paper. Now I'm using watercolor paper because it gives a really nice effect, but you can use normal paper as well. And if you see, the ink underneath is all kind of blending in. I'm going to hold that down just for a minute or so, because when you lift it up, if there's still ink that hasn't soaked in, then it's going to kind of run and merge a wee bit. So I'm just going to leave that for a second. I'm going to grab a tissue, because when I do peel it off, I want to clean my block afterwards. So I'm going to press that down and then carefully lift it up. And when you do that, you might get a bit of the ink kind of pooling at one side, so that's where you're going to want your tissue, just to dab off any excess. There we go. Perfect. And clean off my block. And that gives me this gorgeous watercolor background. So you can try this with different colors, you can try it with stripes in different directions. You get a different look every time. It's a really fun technique to do, and it's really easy as well. And it's lots of fun because that's it. It's dry already, and it's ready for me to craft with. So what I'm going to do next is use my stamps. So this is the Dragonfly Garden set, and I'm going to use this beautiful wildflower stamp here. Yeah, Janie's one of my American friends, and it is really, really cool that she's watching me from the other side of the world. I don't know, what time is it with you, Janie? Is it early in the morning? Is it late at night? I've no idea. Let me just grab a different size block, because it's better to have the right size of block. There we go. And I'm going to use Memento ink for this one, because I'm getting kind of like a, not quite a silhouette effect, but certainly a dark outline against my watercoloured background. So I'm just going to ink that up. And put it down. Oh. There we go. So I do always clean my stamps as I go. It reduces the chance of me accidentally dropping a stamp covered with ink onto one of my projects. Because let's face it, we've all done that, haven't we? I can't be the only one who's accidentally dropped something inky onto something that shouldn't have been inky. 1 o'clock with you, Janie. Oh, it's coming up for 7:45 over here at night. So, right, so what I want to do next is put on my sentiment. And I think I'm going to do this one as a thank you one. Let's use my thank you sentiment. And again, stick with my Memento black for that. Memento is my favourite black to use at the moment. There's the Stays On as well, which is useful, but I am loving Memento black. What do you think, ladies? Do you have favourite blacks to use? What's your go-to ink for a black colour? Because Stampin' Up don't do the basic black anymore, which is a shame because it was good. But the Memento ink and the Stays On are certainly good. Right. So once I've done that, all I'm going to do now is layer that up onto my card blank. Let's just get my bone folder. And you can see that one's pre-scored. Forgive me, my little plaster. I had a little cooking accident earlier. We had fajitas for dinner tonight, and as I was chopping the chicken, I got a bit enthusiastic. Don't worry, no flesh actually ended up in the meal, as far as I'm aware. But hey, bit of protein. Not going to do us any harm. And Tom didn't complain about dinner, so can't have been that. There we go. You guys got used to using the Stampin' Seal yet? I do miss my snail, but I'm getting used to the seal. Apparently a lot quieter when you run it along, I think. Right. There we go. So that's my 2 different versions then of the watercolour background. Really quick and easy to do. And very effective, and I love kind of almost like that meadow with the sunny blue sky that goes really nice with the wild garden type imagery of this. Okay, so that's the first card that I wanted to show you. The second card, let's clear the decks here slightly. I'm going to do this one here, but I'm going to do a slightly different version of it. So I'm going to blend it this time with the Calypso Coral rather than the Blackberry Bliss. So let me just cut my card blank for this one again. So, one I haven't prepared earlier. One of the things I love about this trimmer is just having my cutting blade and my scoring blade on the same thing, so I don't need to. Do you remember using like a trimmer and then using a scoreboard? It used to be so annoying having to use two different things. So I'm quite glad to have all in one now. Okay, so once I've done this, next I am just checking. Yes, it was. I'm using the new basic white. So did you know that Stampin' Up has changed? So the Whisper White, the company that made that, unfortunately, due to COVID and due to other economic issues, they unfortunately are no longer in business, which is really sad because the stuff was beautiful. Let's face it, we all love Whisper White. But I got my first packet of basic white through the post this week, and honestly, I can't tell the difference. I genuinely can't tell the difference between Whisper White and basic white. So, yeah, very happy with that. All right. What I'm using here. So this is the Dandy Garden laser cut paper. And I want a piece of this that's going to be the same size. Oops. They do come all in large sheets. I've just cut them out into the smaller different elements. You get lots of different shapes and frames. And I wanted to use this particular frame on this card. So let me just see. So I want something that is 3 1/4 by 4 3/4. Do it. 3 1/4 by 4 3/4, and this is just going to sit behind my laser cut paper. I did practice it when I was designing this one. I did have another layer underneath to have like a white frame around it, but I didn't like the effect as much. And you do have a kind of a little frame around the edge there, so it still works. Okay, what I'm going to do now is use, these are the new blending brushes. So they come in packs of 3. And if I pull all 3 of them out, can you tell which one I've used already? Because obviously I used one to do the Blackberry Bliss card. Can you tell which one it was? Yeah, if you guess this one, then you're right, because there is a slight tinge of the purple up at the top there. But it is so slight, because with these, I found that if you wash them straight away, then they're perfect again. You don't need to worry. So it's not as if you need a blending brush for every single color that you use, which is good, given the number of colors that we have. So what I'm going to do is just with my brush, I'm going to pick up some ink directly from the ink pad. And I'm going to start off the paper and I'm going to blend up because I want to get an ombre effect on this piece of card. So you can see already it's coming in. It's quite subtle at the top. It's a bit darker at the bottom. I'm just going to ink that up some more. I want it to be nice and dark at the bottom and then kind of gradiating up. You can use the sponges for this as well, but the blending brushes give you a different look, I think, which I quite like. And as I say, I do love the kind of ombre effect that you can get. So. Kind of like the effect that you get underneath on my grid paper too. I must explore doing a card where I kind of use blending brushes and see the shape that you can get underneath. I think you could do something really, really cool with it. So nice covered in the middle. So I want this darker at the bottom and then getting a wee bit paler in the middle and then fading out at the top. The orange of this, the kind of calypso coral, makes me think of like a bonfire. You could do great things at Halloween. I bet you could do amazing things with this. Right, I think I'm going to leave it at that for just now. close this up, that over. So I've got my blended piece of card here. And what I'm going to do is put the Dandy Garden laser cut paper over the top. Now, the best way I've found for gluing something like this, let me show you what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use our trusty Tombow, and this is one of our sponges which I have cut in 2/4. And I keep this one next to my glues because this is my Tombow sponge. And all I'm going to do is put some Tombow directly onto the sponge, like that. And I'm going to sponge it onto the back of my laser cut paper, because I find by doing this I get good even coverage all the way over, and I don't have to worry about trying to do everything really precisely and am I putting on too much glue, am I putting on not enough glue. I'm just going all the way over like that, making sure I remember to do the edges, they are important too. There we go. And then once I've done that, just positioning it over the top. The thing you're doing it with Tombow glue as well, you get a little bit of give. So if it's not in exactly the right spot first time, then you can move it. And then what I'm going to do, just because there's glue on there now, I'm going to fold that over, because the last thing I want is glue getting everywhere. And I'm just going to rub that with my fingers, make sure that that's nice and firm. Okay, and then there you go. That's my ombre effect there. So all I'm going to do is just mount that onto my card. Let's bring back my Tombow. Oh. Position this. Again, Tombow glue is great for being very forgiving. Gives you a chance to even that up. Make sure that you've got it central. Just put it upside down. There we go. Okay. So you can see that was so easy to do, just to get this blended effect. And all I need to do is finish it off with a wee sentiment and a dragonfly. Now, I was going to do, I think I still will. I'm going to use one of the dragonflies from the Dandy Garden paper. And did you know, this is my favourite top tip that I am sharing like mad. I'm not going to fussy cut round this because life is far too short for fussy cutting. But I am going to cut out just roughly round one of these shapes. Like that. And then it fits into the dandelion punch, the dragonfly punch perfectly. Now, right now you're thinking, yes, but that's going to be really fiddly to get that in. So, pro tip, here's what to do, is get a wee bit of your seal on the end of a piece of card. And then what I do is I kind of stamp it against my skin or my jeans or something, because I don't want that too tacky. I just want it tacky enough to hold it. And then what I do is I can feed that in, and it can go all the way in, and my spare piece of card I'm using like a handle to kind of help me guide it and position it until I've got it lined up. See that? Lines up perfectly. And then I can punch it out, and then I can discard that other piece. So you got that. And I think, what colour for the other one? Would you think the green or the purple? I think maybe the green. Let's go with the green for the smaller one. And again, the punch cuts this one out as well, which is cool because it's got the two different sizes of dragonflies on here. But let's get my handle back again. Honestly, doing this is an absolute game changer. See, when I realised that I could line things up with a handle instead of having a tiny piece of card or paper that I had to fiddle around with. This makes life so much easier. And I don't know about you, but I am all for an easy life. So, cool. And so now I've got my little dragonflies. What I'm going to do, because we all love a bit of bling, don't we? So I'm going to use my Wink of Stella on the dragonfly's wings just to bling them up a little bit. They are beautiful in their own right. There is no denying it. But I love just a little bit of shimmer and the little bit of sparkle that you get by putting on Wink of Stella. It's not in your face glitter. It's just a little bit. See if I bring that up to the camera. Can you see that little bit of shimmer on there? Go on, tell me that's not like magical little dragonfly wings. I think it's gorgeous. And then as well. And then for the big dragonfly, I'm going to use the larger foam pads. Put one on either side. And then for the mini dragonfly, I'm going to use a mini foam pad. I love that we've got these in different sizes now. And of course we've got them in black too, so if you're doing a darker project that you need something that's not going to show up, then that works perfectly. Okay. There. Go there. And then for my sentiment, so I'm going to stick with using the Dragonfly Garden one. And I think I will just do again for a true friend because it's nice and little. I don't want a huge sentiment here. I just want a little one. And what I did, this is fast becoming my go-to punch. See this double oval punch? Using it all the time. I'm maybe using it too much. Am I using it too much? Can you use it too much? You tell me. Oh, I'm seeing all these comments that have only just appeared. Yeah, Tammy, I agree. The brushes are so much more soft than the sponges. You get a brilliant effect. And Linda, I'm glad you like the tip too. Yeah, Janie, you totally need to start playing with these. They are really, really brilliant. So, highly recommend it. So, what I'm going to do for the sentiment, so as I say, this double oval punch, I am using it so much right now, but I just want a partial part of the punch. So what I'm going to do is, instead of centering it like I normally would, I'm going to push it right to the edge like that and punch it out. Let's go flying. And I'm going to do the same. Well, actually, I'm just going to do a full one for the one in the contrast in the other colour. And I'm going to stick this down. So. That. And then all I'm going to do is pop that off. There we go. And I've just got a partial oval to use as the sentiment. And put these on. Another one on there. Make sure it's really secure. And then stick that on the side there. There we go. So there you go. You can see that is my Calypso Coral dragonfly card. And I don't know, which one do you like best? The Blackberry Bliss or the Calypso Coral? I like them both in different ways. Oh, Marion, I'm so glad your order arrived. I did send you a couple of WhatsApp, or I tried to send you a couple of WhatsApps, but I don't know if they went through. But I'm glad things have arrived. Yeah, What do you think, ladies? Have you got a preference for the blackberry or for the coral? I think they're both pretty in their own right, but there we go. That those are the cards that I have made for us today on the session. Let's see if we can both see them. It's been really lovely crafting with you. Oh, hey Debbie, we've got you as well. Lovely. It is a brilliant punch. Although you might be talking about this punch. It's hard to tell. There are two punches that I've used on that card, and they are both brilliant. So, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed crafting with me. If you try out any of these techniques, so the watercolor one or the blending brushes one, please share your creations with me. I'd love to see what you make. Let's flick to there. Yeah, so, yeah. Oh, Linda, you like the Calypso Coral, and Marion likes Blackberry Bliss. Well, we're tied at the moment to see which ones people prefer. So, look, thank you so much for crafting with me. It's been a really fun evening. I hope you've enjoyed it and been inspired. And if you do make any of these creations, then please let me see, because I'd love to see your crafting. And have a lovely evening. Okay, take care, everyone. Bye.